Crittenden, and I'm from the Mornington Peninsula down in Victoria. A nice cool climate down there. Vintage was a very good vintage from our point of view. We've seen some very warm weather in the sort of early February period when everyone heard about obviously the bushfires that we enjoyed down there. Fortunately the bushfires were quite localised and weren't near us. I do feel for those that have been affected by the bushfires, but ultimately it hasn't affected us too badly. So a little bit of smoke in the area, but no registered smoke taint in the wines this year as well, which is fantastic. And that heat was very short-lived, and we're quite, I suppose, we're doing a lot of organic and trying to build water retention in our soils, and that's enabled us to really survive that very hot weather that we endured, and meant that we didn't receive any sunburn or anything like that. So it's been a very good year for us to, we managed to avoid all of the extremes that the weather gods threw at us, and yeah, we've made some great Pinots, really good acid balance. Once we got over that heat period, it did taper into a very normal harvest period, so nice long ripening season, which has been very good.
What's your personal favourite food and wine combination?
At the moment I'm really enjoying some of the nice Spanish wines, so certainly Tempranillo. We make ours in what the Spanish describe as the Joven style, which is spelled J-O-V-E-N, and basically it means juvenile or youthful. So we make this Tempranillo in a very clean, no new oak, picking it fairly early, and just really trying to let the essence of Tempranillo shine through in the wine. And I think that that's been fantastic from our point of view, because it really does match a lot of the Spanish foods very well, because it's not too alcoholic or too oaky, and it doesn't drag the palate down. It really brings the palate to life, and I think that it could be a nice trend that hopefully people will start to use in Australian Tempranillo.
Okay, so you think that you've seen an increase in the interest in the alternative varieties?
Yeah, look, we've been making alternative varieties for a long time now, since the early 90s, and I think that certainly there is now a big move towards these alternative varieties, and varieties like Sangiovese, which we make, which has been in Australia now for a long time, has become more of a mainstream variety, and it's nice to see that trend sort of making that transition from alternative to more mainstream, and hopefully over time other varieties like Arnaise and Barbera and Tempranillo can certainly make that transition as well, and certainly challenge the palates of consumers, which is great.
So past or present, who would you most like to sit and have a drink with?
Oh, that's a very good question. I'm not too sure, past or present. I'm a big fan of a lot of the Italian varieties and a lot of the Italian producers, and my favourite iconic wine is certainly the Bartolo Mascarello wines, and Bartolo himself passed away only probably about 3 or 4 years ago, and he was just a very interesting man, and I am fortunate enough to have met him. I haven't sat and had a drink with him, but he had multiple sclerosis, he was in a wheelchair, he used to hand paint his own labels, and just amazing wines, just really very traditional in his winemaking style for all of his Barolo's, and that was just fantastic. So certainly he would be one of my great heroes of the wine industry.
Okay. So have you been to Italy to do vintages over there?
I have been fortunate enough to work in Italy and spend time in Italy learning how to make Barolo and other varieties in the northwest, in the Piedmont region, which has been fantastic, and I've really enjoyed that time spent over in Italy, and being able to adapt a lot of those winemaking techniques back to our Italian varieties back here.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you.